Mario Kart World is coming out soon. I think this game looks amazing. I can't wait to play it, but I've been surprised to see a lot of people complaining about the new racing format, saying that it looks boring and too easy. And in this video, I want to go over why I think it won't be the case. I think these changes will be super fun, and I'm really excited that Nintendo is going with this direction. In order to talk about the different racing formats in this game, I'll have to give them a name. I don't know if other people have found a better name for the new type of race that they introduced, but this is just for the sake of this video. So let's call the traditional Mario Kart formula lap races, and that would mean that you're doing 3 laps in circle like we're used to. In Mario Kart World, they're introducing this new racing format where you're traveling through the world to reach your destination, which is the next track, and when you reach it, you do a single lap and then the race is over. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna call these kinds of races destination races, and if I talk about lap races, it means doing the 3 laps like usual. So what are the main complaints online regarding the destination races? Due to the nature of this new format where you're traveling long distances through the world, the overall shape of these races is now very linear, and sometimes you can see long stretches of straight road. And on top of that, because there's now 24 racers in a single race, the roads are much wider too. So these two things together have people worried that the races will be way too easy and you're just driving straight the whole time and you're gonna fall asleep while playing. So there are 2 main reasons why I'm really excited for the destination races. First off, this is not the first time we've seen races like this in this franchise. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we have 2 races that share a similar concept, Mount Wario and Big Blue. And these 2 are by far some of my favorites in the game. I've always loved in these races how you start at the top of the level and you're going down the whole way. It really feels like you're progressing through the environment. And as the race goes on, you're constantly seeing new areas, new challenges. So keeping the whole race fresh combined with the sense of progression and traveling the world is a great fit for the Mario Kart franchise. So I really loved this format in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I was pretty sad to realize that there were only 2 races like this in the whole game. To me, it always felt a bit like a missed opportunity because they introduced this new style of race, which is super nice, but they only do 2 in the whole game and the rest is only regular lap races. So I was always wondering what more races like this would have looked like. And now in Mario Kart World, they're bringing a ton of races like this. So I guess we'll really get to see this concept pushed to the max. There's another kind of races that I've always loved ever since Mario Kart 64, and it's the races where you have to dodge dynamic obstacles like traffic. It might not seem like a big deal, but I always thought these maps are the most engaging ones. Normally in Mario Kart you have to pay attention to the road, your opponents, the items, the obstacles. But if you add traffic on top of that, now you have to weave your way through different cars of different sizes, moving at different speeds. My favorite thing about racing games is having to make split-second decisions, and I always find that much more interesting than just knowing the layout of a race by heart and just doing it with muscle memory. So when you add traffic like this, it's not just about knowing which curve is coming and how to take on that drift. Now you also have to calculate in your drift where these obstacles are, and it keeps things more engaging. I have to stay focused, and I'm sure it happened to you before. Sometimes when you're doing too good in a race, you're so far ahead that your opponents cannot catch up, even if they throw an occasional blue shell at you, and then the rest of the race becomes just doing these turns that you know by heart. But again, if you keep those dynamic elements, it makes even those moments more exciting to me. And if you look at footage from Mario Kart World, we can see that there are lots of obstacles on these roads. There's gonna be traffic with cars, bullet bills, enemies on the road or throwing obstacles at you from the sides. All in all, I love this approach because it means that the racing is gonna be less about knowing the turns and more about reacting on the fly to what obstacles are coming your way. So from what I've seen of the destination races so far, it seems to combine 2 of my favorite elements from previous Mario Kart games, that feeling of adventure and one race giving you new content the whole way through, and the dynamic elements forcing you to adapt on the fly. And combining that with 24 players, I think it's gonna be anything but boring. Now, of course, as we've seen in the Mario Kart Direct, you can still go in the custom races mode and only play lap races if this is what you prefer. So it's good to know that this is still an option. Sadly, Grand Prix seems to force destination races, so players will have to engage with these new types of races, at least until they beat the Grand Prix. But we know for sure that lap races are not fully gone. If we look at what the Mario Kart team has been doing in recent years, this seems to be the natural progression of what they wanted to experiment with, because if we look at the latest Mario Kart game, which was Mario Kart Tour, a game on mobile, in that game, they changed up how lap races are designed. And what they did is, even though you're racing 3 laps in the same environment, the race will take you through different paths on every lap. To me, those races already felt like a weird hybrid between lap races and destination races. Since every lap feels different and it's taking you through a different route, it might as well be a long continuous trip, but instead they still have you spin around in circles in the same environments. Sometimes you're going through the same gate to count laps, sometimes you're not. It's kind of all over the place. So I can tell that the Mario Kart team wanted to experiment with races where every lap feels different and takes you through new areas. But in Mario Kart Tour, they were kind of limiting themselves by keeping the lap format as well. So this must make it pretty difficult for level designers. They're trying to make these different areas that stand out from each other, but these roads are also all interconnected and you can see the same road from different angles through the same race. I think now the way they're making it in Mario Kart World will be more liberating for them, and they'll be able to be a bit more creative with some of these maps. Now, the one big potential downside that I see with the addition of destination races is the way all the races are connected to each other on the map. There's gonna be way more destination races than lap races. It's just the way it is. And I hope that the experience won't feel too unbalanced now in this game. Let's say that we play online and racing mode. Does that mean that we're way more likely to only see destination races than lap races? I hope not. I do think that the best case scenario would be a healthy balance of lap races and destination races. So we'll see how that feels like, and I hope things will strike a nice balance somehow. So those were my thoughts on this topic. I'm very confident that this game is going to be amazing. I can't wait to get it on day one. And if some of you out there were getting a bit worried about this new racing format, I hope that this video gave you some hope that it can turn out to be pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about destination races, or if you prefer the OG format and you wish they didn't mess with the original formula so much. I always like to see what's the general consensus on topics like this. All right, thanks for watching and see you next time.